whenever someone's arrested in DC, if they're arrested by MPD, or say Park Police maybe turns them over to MPD, they're then brought first to the precinct that's nearest to where they're arrested. Then they're brought here to the Central Cell Block. DC Central Cell Block was built before DC had self-governance. It's very old. It's a very decrepit facility. It is full of cockroaches to such an extent that in previous times there was a detainee who had to have them surgically removed from her ear canal, as was documented on NBC4 by Jackie Benson. At that time, that was 2 summers back. But so the ongoing issues with CCB and the facility are so bad that there is a coalition of people attempting to close it down. We operate with #CloseCCB on Twitter, so you can find where calls to action are located. Essentially, there's no accountability for the condition of the facility and the effect that it has on people. Many of the people who are released from CCB have no papers, so no charges from the U.S. Attorney. And what that ends up meaning is sometimes folks are arrested on Friday, they're not released until today, on Monday, when they can go in front of a judge. And so that might mean that, okay, you have no charges. Well, your stuff is at a precinct somewhere else, and you're sent up this ramp to go and find your stuff with little to no guidance. And if this, say, happens in February during a blizzard, and you were arrested from your home with no shoes, you'll be wearing paper foot coverings and negative 10-degree conditions, as we've witnessed with our community jail support crew. And so the reason that we do what we do here, we receive members from the community and we help orient them for their reentry to what it is that they're going to do next, and we help just with basic humanitarian aid. Sometimes they need medical attention because they've been denied aid while they were in Central Cell Block. We usually provide them drinks, some snacks. Also, if somebody's a smoker, we will offer them a cigarette when they come up, to have that autonomy taken from you and then be released with no charges. So the cops are saying, you didn't do anything wrong here. Well, if you had your autonomy, you would have smoked a cigarette. So you're upset, you're kind of going, and I can't even talk to a person. So we give them that cigarette so they can release that need and then begin to attend to all the other things that they need to do in order to just re-enter. And so that's why I'm here today, and you can see our stuff up there. There's a number of community volunteers who do this every week. There's also another organization that does this on Saturdays called iWalk. They're advocates for incarcerated people, specifically focusing on continued support, legal support, and then also, First Amendment situations as well. And you can talk to them more if you go and visit them on Saturday. But anytime that somebody's arrested and held over the weekend, it's us who will end up receiving them here. I mean, we've had a number of people come through. The former candidate for governor for Maryland, Ben Jealous, came through jail support here. The J6 insurrectionists come through jail support here. So anytime there's a national event and there's a protest and people get arrested, they end up getting held in this facility. So the conditions at CCB are actually a national issue because they affect people from all over the country. And especially, let's say you get held in this place over the weekend, and you had travel plans. Say you had a plane ticket to get out, maybe you couldn't afford to reschedule that plane ticket. Too bad, right? And there's no accountability for the officers. If you say make an arrest, and let's say you make 15 arrests, and 12 of those end up in no charges, no papers, you're not considered from a performance perspective to be any different from any other officer on the force in MPD. And so the financial efficiency of that, I mean, it costs the city an enormous amount of resources to deploy a police officer to then make arrests that are leading nowhere. And, illegitimate arrests, exactly. You can talk to those people every day. They come up this ramp, and every day they need help. We can only manage to do it one day a week, but we're thankful that there are others who also do it on the weekends, and we're thankful when people come up and see this, because a lot of people aren't aware of Central Cell Block. They don't know about it to know about the conditions there. When the AC is out every summer at the beginning of the summer, we talk all the time about dogs in hot cars. And we were so worried about making sure those dogs are okay. We should be. But also when there are people in a hot jail and it's 90 degrees outside and they're baking in this concrete oven and being denied access to water and no access to any food other than a terrible stale bologna sandwich, it's just sort of, we could do better. I mean, the United States criticizes other countries all the time about the human rights abuses that are conducted in their holding facilities and so on, but what we don't do is apply that same lens of accountability to what we're doing here at home. And so that's why concerned citizens in DC are just trying to step up and make sure that some accountability is brought to the council. Charles Allen, is aware of what we're doing here and hasn't done as much as we would like to get the daily facility here shut down, which needs to be done ASAP. It's been condemnable for years. Even former corrections officers who've been held in this facility have come out and told us on camera, condemn it. It needs to be closed forever. So, I really appreciate you taking the time today and coming out here to talk about this.
I heard someone say that even the water comes from the same basin as a...
Oh, well, I'm glad you brought up the water. So every once in a while, the corrections officers will deny water to people, especially if they feel like they can get away with it. We've had pregnant women with black eyes come back up this ramp and say, hey, they denied me water and I'm pregnant. That's a regular story, unfortunately, out here. Because of the mandatory arrest laws for domestic violence cases in the District of Columbia, what you'll find is that, let's say the neighbors call in a domestic violence case, and they come into the scene and they find a man and a woman and both have injuries. Well, let's say if the woman is too afraid to speak, and she's afraid of retaliation, but the man then says, well, she attacked me, so I hit her back. They arrest the woman. And often, sometimes those are pregnant women. And so you have domestic violence victims who are arrested by MPD. They're not charged with anything. They're held over the weekend. Maybe they're separated from other children that they might have. And then in order to get back into their own apartment, they have to call the police to escort a man who does not have custody over their child out of that space and then try to pick up the pieces of what's left of their life. And this is unfortunately an all too common story we hear almost every week out here at Community Jail Support. So these are the kinds of things that we're trying to end. If TCB closes, people will be released to the precincts and not separated from their property like they are now. And if they're released from the precincts and they get their property back, they can at least place a phone call instead of asking me to use my phone, panic. What do I do? How do I talk to my kid right now? I don't know what's happening to my baby. And it's just sort of like, we're going to do our best to try to figure it out. Thankfully, there's a service now that can address some of the transit needs, but it's just simply not enough. There's a fund that's been granted by DOC to a company called VOW, and they bring around vans, and they can drive people to the precincts to get their stuff. But it's just one van at a time because there's not enough money. And so as a result, say they might take one person to the 6th District precinct across town, well, they'll be waiting for a long time out here for the next van to come, and if the weather is inclement and we're not here to do jail support, they might not know they're waiting for a van. They might just wander off going, okay, I'm going to just figure this out. So, this is one of those places where we could be removing harm from society by making some simple policy changes, and it could be less expensive for the district, and so common sense seems to say change all this. But until people start to care and start to put pressure on their council members, things are going to continue to operate as they have here at TCB. We're just a group chat. We're just some people. We just do this because we believe it needs to be done. We don't want to form an organization because we don't believe that we should still have to be doing this. So if you want to find what we're doing, you can look at #ClosedCCB on Twitter, and you can find references, links to outlets. But moreover, you can talk to your local council member. Charles Allen, of course, is the person on the council who has the accountability over DOC, so he's somebody to be reaching out to. We've also found that there's some really good ideas coming from the office of Brianne Nadeau, so we were happy to see that she was reelected so that we continue our cooperation to hold the DOC accountable. But other members of the council have not really been as involved, and so it would be great to see their constituents step up to prioritize this issue that affects all the people of DC. not just people who come through for high-profile actions.